Hello, friends! If you find yourself lost in a sea of frustrating layers in Procreate projects, you're in the right place today because I'm breaking down the easiest ways to stay organized in Procreate so that you can focus on creating and not hunting for that one random layer that you can't seem to find. Plus, at the end, I'm going to show you a must-use trick to save yourself so much time if you forget to use the following tips. So first, let's break down the layer panel. Each layer is like a transparent sheet, and you can stack them to build your design, which is extremely helpful because you can use separate layers for each element. So your text, shadows, highlights, even the background, and you will see options like blend modes and opacity sliders here as well, which help you customize how your layers interact with each other. But let's not get ahead of ourselves because that is for another moment. Right now, I want to show you an example of how you can really see the impact of how you organize your layers. So check out this side by side. On the left, I've got a mess of layers. There's no names, there's no grouping. It's pretty much chaos. And honestly, trying to navigate it this way is a nightmare. But then on the right side, everything's grouped and labeled and organized in a way that makes sense. And trust me, your future self will thank you for that kind of setup. So let's talk organization. There are 2 simple tips. Clear names make it easy to find what you need, especially when working on larger projects with a ton of layers. So you're just gonna tap on a layer after it's selected to rename it. And when you're working on complex projects, I super recommend grouping related layers. For example, I grouped the objects in this one together, like accessories, the hair, the clothing. I even have groups inside of groups. And these act like folders and they can be sorted so you know exactly where to find the layer that you're looking for. And to group them, you're just going to select multiple layers by swiping. And when all of the layers you want are grouped and highlighted, you'll see that they're highlighted. You're going to tap the group button or name word at the top. Let's look at some advanced yet simple layer techniques that will really elevate your designs and work indestructibly. So clipping masks are perfect for adding textures and gradients to your project without affecting the actual layer. So let's say you want to add a really cool texture or gradient effect, but you don't want it to spill over the edges, and you also don't want to do it directly on its true layer, and I'll tell you why in a minute. That is where clipping masks come in, okay? Clipping masks make sure that your texture only affects the part of your design that you want it to. If you want to make changes to the texture but not the full object, that's where you can adjust your clipping mask layer and it won't touch the original layer underneath. The second one is layer masks, and these often get confused if you're not familiar. And so these are different from clipping masks. They are great for erasing a part of a design without actually erasing it. Now, when a mask is created, you want to make sure you work in pure black or pure white because anything in between is just going to create a transparency and leave the color there. So black is going to hide what you draw over and white will bring it back. Pretty fun. Okay. I'm going to show you the hidden tool that's going to save your sanity if you, like me, oftentimes, forget to stay organized. Because let's face it, we all get carried away mid-project and then we suddenly have 25 unnamed layers floating around. It's chaos, right? Don't worry, there's a tool for that. Before I show you how to set it up, let's look at how it works, okay? Let's say you have a chaotic group of layers, but you find a random line through your work way too late into your project. Who knows when it worked its way in here by accident? And who knows what layer you will find it on? So you can invoke layer select, which will let you tap the area that you want to edit, and it will automatically select that very layer. You can choose what gesture that you want to use to invoke the layer select in your gesture settings. So I have access to it in 2 places. My regular gesture that I've set up for personalization, and then also quick menu. And this is a complete lifesaver when you're working with all these layers. So there you have it, my friends. Quick tips that you need to stay on top of your Procreate project organization to make them as smooth and stress-free as possible. So organizing groups, renaming layers, clipping masks, layer masks, and that magical layer select tool. You're armed with skills to keep your designs clean, efficient, and let's be honest, way less overwhelming. If you found this helpful, it helps me if you press the like button, I know. But also, Tell me in the comments which tip you're most excited to try first. If you had any of those aha moments, obviously subscribe for more creative tutorials, and maybe share this with a friend who could use some layer therapy, because let's spread organized chaos, eh? I'll see you guys soon!